Hey Frank, it's good to see you, mate. Saw you last night, but here I am again.
Yeah, beautiful steak last night with Platty was fun. Yeah, I did see your bacon egg roll this morning, so I'm guessing that you did hang out a little bit longer than after I left.
Yeah, my head's a little sore, but I got a smile on my dial today, having a chat with you, all things fights and food. Yeah, we
Always,
did
bro.
did stay out for about 10 pints on a Wednesday. Wasn't really ideal, but when Platty comes to town, you paint the town, as they say. So
Yeah,
here I am
short
anyway.
week. Short week.
All right, mate. Let's get right into it. We've got a big card coming up at Madison Square Garden. You know, interesting how this card has taken shape. It's being headlined by Alex Pereira, who has had one fight now at light heavyweight, and he's up against Yuri Prochazka, who hasn't fought in about 18 months, and it's for the vacant light heavyweight bout.
Yeah, after that injury, it's going to be super interesting seeing Yuri come back straight into another title fight against the guy who's... When did he fight Jan? It would have been only a few months ago. So, I mean, Alex has stayed pretty active since getting knocked out. I mean, he took that fight pretty quick with Jan, and then now turning around to the light heavyweight title fight. There's a lot of ifs as well, like seeing how Yuri comes back from his surgery after not even just having a layoff, but after the surgery. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be an awesome main event.
Yeah, mate, I can't wait. I mean, it's really interesting when you think about who has the most interesting or captivating aura, that sort of mysterious aura. You think of Alex Pereira, or you think of Yuri Prochazka. They're both
top
kind of
two.
clashing here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got no beef necessarily behind them. Like, these guys respect each other. They're both just warriors, and they're both killers in the cage. Yuri's got that whole Bushido samurai thing behind him. Alex, he's got that stone face, hands of stone kind of mystique to him. Doesn't really speak English so much, and he's obviously got the history with our man Adesanya. So I'm very interested. Whilst I think this fight's probably going to be on the feet. Anyone that thinks that someone's going in with a game plan to wrestle, I doubt that's the case. They're both going to go toe to toe here. And it's a bit of a clash of a real technical style in Alex Pereira, coming from the glory kickboxing days and bringing that into MMA, picks his powerful shots but throws really nice combos and mixes in those leg kicks very, very nicely in all of those combos that he throws.
Yep.
And then you got a guy like Yuri, who's just a bit of like I don't want to say a Yair Rodriguez, but he's got a lot of versatile strikes to his game. He knocked out Dominic Reyes with that spinning elbow. He throws some unique stuff. So it's kind of like the technical guy versus the don't know what's going to happen here guy.
Yeah. I heard a very interesting stat about Alex Pereira as well this week. If he wins the belt, he would have been the middleweight, the light heavyweight, and the two-time glory kickboxing champ in the span of 3 years. And he's only having his 11th MMA bout. Coming up with this with you. It's insane. Like, his stats are insane, man. Like, and he hasn't been, this will be one of a few title fights he's been in within the last calendar year as well. It's a lot on his shoulders, but I mean, this is, you're looking at a guy like Yuri who's had 3 times the amount of experience in MMA as him. Like, you look at his record. I know people say like the kickboxing thing and going to the big stage in general, but yeah, the MMA, the UFC stage, it doesn't really seem to be shaking Pereira too much. Like you said, they're two stoic dudes that are just going to go in there and throw down. So yeah, I do agree. I don't think there's going to be too much smart game planning by Yuri. Like, I don't know where everyone's getting this ground game that Yuri has that he always leans on. I've never seen it. I mean, he choked out Glover when he fell on him. That's about it.
Yeah. Anything can happen when you're covered in blood, sweat, and tears, and it's round 5, and you got an old 40-year-old on his last fight there.
That's it.
On
Fell
his way
into a
out,
bulldog choke or whatever it was.
I guess the funny part of that is that Glover actually is Alex's head coach at this point now for MMA.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he can instill what he learnt from his fight with Yuri into Alex and put that into the game plan. I personally think that Alex is just going to be too technical and have a better counter striking game to bring to Yuri. And if they go punch for punch, I'll take Alex's power over Yuri's power. I know Yuri's basically finished everyone that he's fought in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong, and always in great fashion.
Yeah.
But I just think if someone's getting caught, it's more likely to be Yuri. He's shown that he takes a lot of hits in his fights. In the Reyes fight, he actually said that he got knocked out with an up kick and had to clear the cobwebs to then recover.
Yeah.
If you go all the way back to Volkan Ozdemir, I think they were kind of going tit for tat in that early stage of the fight, and they were throwing bombs at each other.
Yeah.
And then the Glover fight was 5 rounds of rock'em sock'em robots until he got that rear naked choke sunk in.
Yeah. Pereira's defensive striking, I think, is probably going to be a very big part of this. Like, only when he's got his foot on the gas and his tail up have we seen him go down, really. Like, the only times where he has been clipped, I think it was the end of the first round in the first Adesanya fight, and then obviously the second round was when he had Izzy in a compromised spot. And, whether he was playing possum or not, he'd come in thinking, I've got this guy. He got clipped when he thought he was going to be finishing him, and then Izzy had come back over the top. So I think if he just mines that spot, which I can't really see Yuri getting into that spot where his back's on the cage, to a point where I think Alex has made that mistake already 2 times. I don't think he's going to make it a third.
Yeah. You got to think. I mean, fighting Adesanya was a very different chapter for him. He's obviously recovered from that since and taken a bit more of a smarter, less risky decision-making approach into the fight with Jan, and he showed a well-rounded game there where he was in grappling exchanges and looked better than that first fight with Adesanya where he was getting out-grappled by Adesanya. So, I think he's got a very much more well-rounded game now, and he's not cutting as much weight. So you got to think maybe he's either carrying more power or he's just got a bit more cardio to him, and he can take the shots a bit better, not having to cut that weight. So I think we're seeing a better version of him here. You just don't know what Yuri's going to look like after 18 months out. I'm sure he'll look great, but I'd be taking Alex here. The odd makers basically have it as a pick 'em. I'm looking at Sportsbet right now. Alex is $1.80 and Yuri's $2. So I'd be taking Alex. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's moved slightly here and there. Who knows what it'll look like in a few days. I think getting Alex at $1.80 in a 5-round fight, I'm liking those odds. I'd be taking Alex.
Yeah. I saw the going the distance was, I think, $5 or $6, which I do like a go the distance in a main event. People see these 2 wild warrior finishes and think that it's not going to be going past the first 3 minutes, and then it always ends up dragging out. So I think if either of them come in with a bit of a smart game plan, and titles are on the line, headlining as well, MSG. There's not going to be mistakes made at the start. I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot more of a technical battle as well. Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets finished, but the juicy number on going the distance at that $6 or whatever it is can't help myself. Juicy night.
Shout out to our boy Zon the Greek, who had the Jalton Almeida and Derek Lewis fight to go the distance at $21, I believe, or something like that. So
that's it, man.
He'll find him for us, and
should have been $221.
Should have been, yeah. Jesus Christ! Someone needs to teach Jalton how to throw an elbow. It was killing me. Yeah. I know Dominic Cruz was shouting it so much that I got sick of the idea myself. But look, like you said. 100%. Yeah. I guess just before we move on from it, probably important to just say the light heavyweight division really needs stability, and it's good to see that they're getting a showcase at Madison Square Garden to really put a fucking pin in that and give someone the belt. Whether it's Yuri, whether it's Alex, we know as long as these guys stay healthy, they're real champions at 205. So great to see the shine going on that division, and looking forward to seeing a new champ coming out of this.
Me too, bro.
Yeah. I'm excited, mate. I've got goosebumps thinking about the face-off, let alone the fight. But onwards to the co-main, mate, with Sergey Pavlovich and Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Couldn't help myself there. But,
love it.
I love Tom. I love his story. I love that he's stepping up on short notice and taking this. I think he was supposed to go on holiday with his wife, who is angry at him, but understanding. And, he's stepping in. I think, what is it, 3-4 weeks?
It's an interim title fight. Pipe down.
You got to do it. Yeah, pipe down over there, Mrs. Aspinall. But look, Tom's been training since he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
His dad's in his corner. His dad was one of those pioneers of martial arts in England, and he's prime. He's ready. He looks so good coming back off the knee injury after that Blades fight, and then he fought Marcin Tybura. Looked great. Just looked perfect. You know, he's got such a I hate saying well-rounded again, but it's not really another way to put it when you think about the fact that this guy can wrestle, can submit people at will. I know that when he came up on the regional circuit, he was struggling to get fights because nobody wanted to fight him. No heavyweight should move like Tom Aspinall does. Like people say that he moves like a middleweight at heavy, but has the heavyweight size and the heavyweight power. It's pretty damn accurate when you look at how he finishes people so quickly and takes the fight where he wants to.
Yeah, his run that he's had, like, it was obviously pretty sad. I think Countdown did a really well justice to the ups and downs that he'd had through his run in the UFC, like between finding it difficult to get amateur fights, then even pro fights before going to the UFC. Like, it was almost like a reluctant decision for him to go to the UFC. Like, oh, well, I guess I got to go to the UFC now because no one else is going to fight me on the regional circuit. I think they did a really good job of that, showcasing like his background and where that had come from and how dangerous he was even before he got there. His comeback fight after the surgery with Tybura there was a lot of questions going into that. Like, is he going to be the same? Is the thing? It was a pretty traumatic thing that he went through. It was similar to the Rakic and the one that Khalil Roundtree did, how he stomped that guy's leg out. Like, it was sort of a similar blowout where it was like multiple different things in his leg. We didn't get to see that much of a test of him, I think, with Tybura because it was so quick. I don't know if Sergey Pavlovich is going to be that guy that's going to be bringing it out of him, but he's still up for another test here. Like, he's still up for a huge test.
Yeah, I guess the big unknown with Sergey Pavlovich is what's he like on the ground. You know, unfortunately, Sergey Pavlovich's like UFC fight time is a few minutes really. He's not letting anyone take him down. He's had some matchups where, I mean, going off memory, he had guys like Derek Lewis who's not going to wrestle him. You know, he had Tai Tuivasa, our boy Bam Bam, not going to wrestle him. So he's going in and he throws. Like, he throws harder than I don't know. I would have loved to have seen him versus Ngannou. That would have been absolute dynamite. Just both of them with that level of power that's just earth-shattering knockout. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what Tom decides to do in those first few minutes. Is he going to feint the takedown? Is he going to try to set it up, or is he going to just get comfortable in his striking and back himself there until he decides it's going into the later rounds? All right, maybe Sergey's a bit more tired. I can get him down here. I think Tom's that kind of guy that he'll just create openings, and his IQ is going to react to, like, his body will do what his mind wants him to do straight away. And if he sees a takedown, he'll go for it. He's not going to necessarily he won't be overthinking these things. He will take the fight naturally as it comes. I think if he gets Sergey in a position where he can maybe push him up against the fence and then get a takedown using the fence, maybe he'll do that as well. Yeah. I know he's very explosive and very quick at shooting. So I think Tom would be crazy not to use that part of his game, given that Sergey's best part of his game is throwing bombs on the feet. And let's see if we can get him down. Yeah,
I mean, it's still a great matchup, you know, seeing how everything that we've said, you know, where Tommy's coming back from and Sergey just being a fucking steamroller. Jones and Miocic obviously was going to be a great fight, which was supposed to be the top of the bill for this one. But I still think those top two really can hold this MSG card, which is, you know, the annual MSG card notoriously is headlined by, like, it's a great card. It's always, I think, some of the best cards we've ever seen. It's not the MSGs of late, you know. It's not one of the ones that we've seen in the past, but, you know, there's still some pretty good unders on there.
I think the only reason maybe it doesn't feel that good is because everyone was ready to see John Jones fight again. Everyone wanted to see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, but Yuri was always the champion. Yeah, he had to give the belt up, but he should always have been fighting for the 205 belt. Alex Pereira and Yuri is a fight that everybody wanted as soon as Alex went up to 205. He beat Jan. He's earned that shot. That's great. That's getting the respect there. And it's going to solve the division and moving on, like I said. Tom Aspinall and Sergey are really the best heavyweights that we really have outside of John Jones. But John Jones has not really been around the heavyweight division that long. I mean, what has he had? One fight? So, and then Stipe Miocic arguably is going to be retiring after this fight. They are whispering the same about Jones. So we're really seeing two guys that are wanting to get out more than they want to stay in. Whereas we're seeing Tom Aspinall and Sergey as the future of the heavyweights. That's what this fight is. And look, I'd love to see Jones in a fight with either of these guys as well. So look, if Stipe moves on, or if they don't rebook that fight, because this is for the interim belt, this kind of forces Jones to, get a tap on the shoulder, and Dana's going to say, "Oh, mate, this Tom's the interim champ or Sergey's the interim champ. So the Stipe fight will be there, but we've got to solve this. We've got to really decide who's champion." And he might be able to make Jones fight a guy like Sergey or Tom.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, it's still going to be. He's had a year off. This fight's going to play out this weekend. Then he's still going to be another year from then. So I wouldn't be. And then how old will John be then? Like 45 or some shit? I don't know. Like he's probably going to be. He's going to be pretty old, right? Like, I mean, at what point do you just say, like, it needs to, like you said, it needs to move on? Or I don't really know where you go from there, but yeah,
old enough to keep partying, but look, I mean, I don't really know who to pick in this fight. If we actually want to pick, my heart just wants Tom to win, because I just get his story more. I have more appreciation for him. Obviously he's a UK guy. It's our cousin country in a way, and we've been following him from day one. Sergey, we just don't know that much about him. I don't watch interviews with English subtitles often, so I'm not going to look for Russian outlets reporting on Sergey Pavlovich. Great fighter. Keen to see what he does, and look, may the best man win. I'll take Tommy just because I like him.
Yeah, I want to take Tom as well, purely because he's a good dude, and it'd be cool to see him see this thing, like, coming back from an injury like that. Like, what it takes to get back to that stage, and to say yes on short notice to a guy like this. I mean, it is a little bit somewhat of an underdog story, coming in and fighting one of the scariest guys in the division. He said it himself. He's probably one of the toughest dudes that he could be fighting on short notice. So I think the scenes will be amazing in New York if he can pull it off.
100%. And I'll even go one further, and I'll take Tom's best path to victory, in my opinion, which is submission.
Yeah.
$4.80 on Sportsbet. Whack that in.
Love it.
Throw 20 on that, and there's a couple of dinners for you, mate. There's a couple of steaks coming your way.
Only on Wednesday.
At Bell Hotel. Bell's Hotel. What is it? Yeah, not a bad place.
Bell's. Hit us with our other Aussie that's on the card. Our only Aussie on the card.
Yeah, we've got our boy Steve Erceg, Astro Boy, on the card, coming on his second fight in the UFC after going back to UFC 289, taking that fight on short notice, and coming off with that win, pulling it off in impressive fashion. He looked great. He's won 9 in a row, I believe, and he's 10-1. He's ranked. That he's in the top 10 of the flyweight division after one fight. So he's got some moves to make here, and he wants to move quick. I think he was supposed to fight Schmelzberger. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He was supposed to fight Schnell. Yeah.
Oh, Matt Schnell.
Yeah.
Getting the Schnells mixed up, but yeah, he's got Alessandro Costa. Look, exciting guy, exciting fighter. Steve's actually a favourite at about $1.50, I believe, last I looked. Alessandro Costa coming off a win against Jimmy Flick, has been finished by Amir Albazi though as well, but
and short notice.
Yeah, and short notice. I mean, look, Perth seems to be a great breeding ground at the moment for our MMA talent. You got Jack Della over there now, and now you got Steven Erceg coming out of Wilkes Academy in Perth. So looking forward to seeing what he can do in his second fight.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. I mean, we spoke about Nicholas Dalby last week, and these guys that stick in your head. When you watch them fight, you think, man, I got to remember that name for the next time they fight. And I don't remember the odds. I want to say it was $3 or $4 head to head. I think he was against the last bloke that he fought, and he went out there and he looked like he was the favorite. So, and in a way that he had taken his shot at the last minute, like you said, like it was sort of a last minute call up thing. The fact that he would have seen it as a win to have gone all 3 rounds, even if he lost, right? But he went out there like he had nothing to lose, and he put on a show. And I just remember thinking, man, we need to keep an eye out for this guy. Not only is he Aussie, but he's a beast as well especially at flyweight. Like I forgot I was watching a flyweight fight. You know, he
absolutely. I mean, flyweight is probably the most technical division when you think about how fast, how quick these guys can move, how slick they are in submission, defense, offense. Those grappling exchanges can be quite wild. You know, having flashbacks of Moreno versus Figueiredo, 3 or 4, whichever one that was. But you know, Erceg is no stranger to the big stage. He's defended his belt in Eternal MMA, which is Australia's leading pro promotion here. He's defended that belt 3 times, that flyweight belt. So going in and having a 3-round fight, that's a cakewalk for him, in my opinion. He's prepared for this. Yeah. He's been well, tried and tested on our local circuit here, and I do like him to continue on this run and start to break through. I think flyweight's a bit of an open division. Whilst people are ranked in this and that, I think you can get through it pretty quickly in a few fights. We've seen Kai do very well and jump up the ranks quite quickly as well. So I'm keen to see what Steve can do. Yeah,
I think it's safe to say that we're both going to take Steve on this, regardless of whether the bloke that he's fighting, Alessandro, is on short notice or not. I would have taken him anyway, just purely based on his last performance, being able to handle pressure, being able to handle last minute changes. But yeah, super happy for him, dude. Like that's a second fight, MSG.
Yeah, super happy for him. I mean, he's been knocking on the door of the UFC for a while. He was booked to fight on the Contender Series, had visa issues, couldn't get on that.
Yeah,
got the call up short notice, and really made a name for himself. And now he's backing up not long after.
I will also touch on that. This is a little thing, but I'm sure it does. It's not a spot that you get put in by accident. Is that he's the headliner of the prelims before the main event, so I can only imagine the crowd's going to be full. He's not headlining the fight past prelims, you know. Like he's in arguably one of the best spots on the card, which is just before the main event pay-per-view starts. He's there for a reason. I think it's good that the UFC have put him there because it's a juicy spot that people want to be in. Juicy night spot.
Juicy night.
And I reckon he's going to shine, man. You know. Let's see him get a finish. Let's see him get a knockout or a sub. I remember him attacking that sub in the last fight as well. So, yeah, let's see him get a finish there and set the tone for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, take Erceg by sub as well.
Yeah,
parlay that into Aspinall sub. Why not? But he's had 6 subs on his record, 1 knockout.
Yeah,
I'd say he'd probably be looking for another sub. That seems to be where his strengths lie.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sign us off, brother.
Yeah. I mean, probably last but not least, I would say Madison Square Garden seems like, you know, one of the world's best sporting venues, if not to be live in attendance and to be seeing something there. Mm-hmm. But Frank, aren't you going to New York soon? Isn't that on the cards?
I am in a month or so. Yes, I am. I'm going to MSG to watch the Bulls and the Knicks there. So it's going to be a pretty awesome experience. Get over there, have some pizza, get some pizza in the stadium. I reckon some deep dish.
Beat me to it.
I should have left that one for you. That's your little call tag there.
I think, you know, with this card being in New York on Sunday, what better way to watch it than at home on my couch, getting some pizza delivered, New York style. I think I'll be doing that.
It's an Arvo card, so I reckon it's only fitting.
Yeah. Early, nice afternoon pizza. Shout out to my boy David Bell, who cannot have pizza before 6 p.m. All right, mate.
Alrighty, brother.
No worries. See you, mate. See you next week.
Catch you, dude. And you J-Check and Bisping and GSP. I'm keeping that in.
Pardon me. Should have happened in the first place. Why are you laughing?
I was about to sneeze and I was like, not again.
Anyway, cut that out.
This is a dribble session and a half.